Hello, welcome to Android Java programming. In this tutorial, we are going to look at UI design and look at some components for the layout. Let's create a new project. I'm going to name it Layout Components. Click Next. Minimum SDK is API 19. That's OK. Click Next. Select blank activity and hit Next. Accept the default. Click Finish. OK. Android Studio created this new project. However, there are some rendering problems because some TextView style is missing. To solve that problem, we just need to click on this API version. Currently, it's using 23. Let's select API 21, and it solves the problem. So by default, this is the UI of the application. It already has a text view. Alright, so currently we are looking at activity_main.xml. There are two different tabs. One is the design, the graphic layout mode. If we click on the text, we will be able to look at the XML file. So currently it's using a relative layout. Inside the relative layout, there is a text view component. It's displaying Hello World and Android layout width is wrap content, which basically means it's just enough space to display all the text. And the layout height is also wrap content. It's just enough height to display the text. Let's switch back to the Design tab. Let's make some change to the text view. When we click on the text view, do you notice there's a blue frame around the text view? So we have selected this component. On the right side, there is the Property menu. If we look at the property, we can scroll down. Among the items, we will find text color. So we can change the color of the text. When we click on the ... it's going to launch a dialog box. The resource dialog. There are 3 tabs. Let's click on the color tab. And from the color palette, we can choose the color for the text. I want to have blue for the color. Click on the blue and click OK. Now our text color has been changed into blue. So we can interact with the text view and manipulate its appearance. Next, I'm going to introduce to you buttons. We can add a button to the UI. From the widgets, let's find the button and drag and drop to our UI. So we have a new button appeared here. If we switch back to text and look at the XML file, let me enlarge the window. And you can see in this relative layout, there is a text view, and below that, a button is added, automatically generated by the system. There are several attributes. It started with Android prefix and column and the attribute name. The layout width and layout height are both wrap content. The text is now displaying new button. Now let's change the text into Click Me This attribute ID is specifying the ID for the button. We know that every component of the UI will have a unique ID associated with it. When the system retrieves the information and it generates the r.java file, each component will be assigned a unique integer ID mapping to the ID here. So this button has the ID specified by @+ID and / and the button is the ID name. The other attributes are related to the relative layout. Now let's go back to the design. Alright, so the text has been changed to click me. Next, I want to show you how to respond to a button click. In order to code the button click handler, we need to go to our Java code. So let's go to the app folder structure, expand the Java, expand the first package, and click on main activity. This takes us to main activity.java file. We can see that main activity extends app compact activity, which is a child class of activity. On top of it, we have imports ... but if we click on the plus before it, it will expand, and here are the packages and classes currently imported. And we have several methods for the main activity. Now, in this Java code, we want to have access to our button. In order to do that, first we need to create a reference object to our button. So let's add a line inside the class main activity definition, but outside any of the methods. Private button, my button. Okay, so we got some problem. It's indicating we need to import Android widget.button. If it's Windows system, you can press Alt and Enter. Alright? Okay, so we have imported Android widget.button. Now we can start adding the code to access my button object. Let's go to the onCreate method. First, we need to find this component. To do that, we need to use a method called findViewById. Parenthesis. Inside, we need to pass r.id dot, and when you type dot behind ID, you will get a suggested list of items to select from. Let's click on button. So this returns a view type of object. We want to assign it to my button. Now there's a problem. Basically, this is because the return type of findViewById returns a view type object. In order to assign to my button, which is a button type of object, we need to explicitly cast it to button type. So let's add typecast to button in front of findViewById. And there we go. Now we have access to the button component. We want to add click handler. In order to do that, let's add my button dot set onClick listener. The first one in the list, set onClick listener. Alright, so this is a method call. Inside, it's expecting an object of onClick listener. For this, we're going to use anonymous class. So let's use the keyword new and view dot onClick listener. Alright? So automatically, the system will generate a method stub for onClick method. This method takes a view, and inside we can tell the system what we want to do when the button is clicked. For example, we want to change the text on my button. So let's put my button dot. There's a method called setText. Alright, and we can pass a string which will replace the current text on the button. Let's say new text. Alright, so when the button is clicked, we're going to change the text into new text. Now let's save the change and let's run our program. And this is the button to run app. Let's click. This app will be launched in your emulator. Make sure you have an emulator that's running. Let's give it some time. Alright, now the dialog box pops up, asking me to choose a running device. I can also check use same device for future launches. And click OK. It's going to upload the APK Android package into the emulator, which takes some time. Okay, our application is launched. Layout components. It has a button, click me. Now let's click the button. The text of the button changed into new text. So we just learned about TextView, button, and how to handle button click event. Thank you.